Good morning. We are aware that mostly the bureaucracies are very state, very unresponsive, and many times they are just the lackeys of the political leaders. The job of the bureaucracy is to ensure that the policies of the government are carried out. It is also to ensure that the real job is a service of the people and the welfare of the people. But unfortunately, bureaucracies all over the world suffer from inertia. And secondly, they are averse to any change. So I was very happy when I saw that the Privy Council clerk, the senior most bureaucrat of Canada, came up with an idea to energize, reinvigorate, and make bureaucracy come alive. Blueprint 2020 for Canada is a living document. And within 2 months of taking over the job, Privy Council clerk Wernick came up with this concept, Blueprint 2020 plan, and the purpose was to ensure that the government delivers the agenda it was elected for, and secondly, to raise the capabilities of the public servant. Now, public service is something by which all the political leaders swear by, and they are the first to ignore any concept of service. The first thing that has to be seen is that the bureaucracy suffers, as we said, from mismanagement in recruitment, getting wrong people with the wrong skills and who are just there not to advise the political leaders, which is their first job, but to enhance their capacity to misgovern. And this Blueprint 2020 is a document which prepares to ensure that right people with the right mix of skills are recruited, they are retained, and they discharge their services fearlessly without political compulsion. You see, the main purpose of Blueprint 2020 is to shift the focus on the results achieved rather than on the work done. Unfortunately, while the public sector is so lethargic, the private sector has shown remarkable progress because that has capacity to take risks. And that is what Blueprint 2020 says, that the public servant should also take risks, smart risks. You see, there are so many managers in the public sector, so much rules, that the bureaucracy and the processes are not productive. The services are tired. So you need better buildings and better technology. But the biggest problem is it's an elephant. It moves very slowly. So Blueprint 2020 aims at making public servants nimble, making public servants aware that lethargy is not acceptable. It's a fixer-upper. And the foundations have to be built strong. As a matter of fact, Blueprint 2020 was first rolled out by the earlier public Privy Council clerk, Wayne Wouters, who wanted to modernize the public service. But the pressure by the Trudeau government focused on results and delivery, and the deliverables sacrifice the public good. Now, this model of 2020 is not something new. As a matter of fact, Tony Blair at one time had used it, and he had a delivery unit right under his own nose in the PMO. It's good that that model has been adopted. Now what happens is that the public servants are normally inured to the technological changes. They cannot keep pace with the technological progress, and the complexity of the issues needs that the public servants be abreast of the latest technological developments so that they can understand the complexity of the situations that the people face and come out with a variety of solutions. Then it's for the political leaders to pick up the appropriate solution in consonance with their political needs and desires. You know, people in the former colonies, including Canada, are aware that the public servants live in ivory towers. They are cut off from the mainstream of life. The problems that the ordinary citizen faces are not faced by them. And their main source of information is the analysts who focus on economics, foreign affairs, environment, and so on and so forth. But the public servants themselves are absolutely cut off from the real life. And now that has got to stop. Public servants must be aware of the reality of the situation firsthand. And that is what Blueprint 2020 says. All major economic, political, environmental issues that face any country, including Canada, are multifaceted and require collaboration. But the public servants believe in working in silos. They think that they are the monarch of all the survey, so they don't need it. And bureaucracy has to come out of that silo approach. And I was very happy when the Privy Council clerk said that the real opportunity is to give more space to the people to collaborate with one another. This sense of cooperation and collaboration is the most important thing. Now you would be thinking, what is this Blueprint 2020? It's a vision of the future of the public service based on the inputs by the public, by the experts, and by the public servants themselves. It's an edifice built on 4 pillars. And I'm amazed that this major transformational weapon devised by the Privy Council clerk under the active consideration of the government, which shall transform the bureaucracy, has been ignored by all the media. No, I said it says 4 pillars to support it. And what are those pillars? First is an open and networked workplace that engages Canadians and partners for public good, not for private good, not for political lens. But the main purpose is it's a networked place, so technologically wired place, and that engages Canadians and all the partners for the good of the public. The second pillar is equally important, a whole of government approach to improve delivery and value for money. Now, the delivery is the delivery of services. You say that you are going to give universal basic income. Would the delivery be to the proper people? Has the proper selection been done? And secondly, is there value for money? If you are spending $1 billion, what is the return? You know, in the private sector and in businesses we talk of ROI, return on investment. We talk of IRR, internal rate of return. But in the public service we never bother about value for money. Now that doesn't mean to say that the public service cannot have that. Value of money need not be in monetary terms. Value of money can also be in form of welfare of the people, good of the people. And everything can be translated into the value terms for the sake of accounting purposes. I'm not saying that all the services should be commercialized, but for the accounting purposes, the commercial aspects cannot be ignored, and we can evaluate them in the commercial terms, in the accounting terms. Now, what's the third pillar? A modern workplace which uses new technologies for networking, access to data, and most important, customer service. We in India and Pakistan or in other countries know that the customer service is a joke. Here as well, customer service needs much more improvement. When I say the customer service by the bureaucracy in Norway or Sweden or Finland, and compare it with the customer service here in Canada, I really think that we are possibly in Canada living in the Middle Ages. We talk of the customer service, but in reality that customer service is more of a talk than the reality. It's not a factual thing. And the fourth pillar, a capable, now most important is capable, confident, and high-performing workforce. Capable, confident, high-performing workforce that embraces new ways of working and diversity of talent to serve the country's needs. Now imagine the use of the word diversity of talent. He doesn't say diversity of people, but of talent. Our government, our political leaders do talk of diversity. And when they talk of diversity, they say, for example, Trudeau said 50% must be women, whether they are deserving or not. Whether they are dishonest or not, put them in there. We talk of the visible minorities. Why this diversity based on looks, on gender? We need diversity of talent, and this has been recognized by the Privy Council clerk. Now, to make these pillars or reinforce their strength, you have to make recruitment more efficient, because you have need capable, confident and high-performing people. You have got to see that the mental health is a top priority. Not depressive maniacs, not conformist, but the people who can really be high-performing. And high-performing people are not conformists. You see, we are in a place of... Now come to that, recruitment. The specialists in data analysis would be the key recruitment target. That's what the Blueprint 2020 wants. They should examine, the public service have to examine how they recruit people. At present, you typically rely on major post-secondary campaigns on campus as well as on online recruitment. We need here an infusion of mid-career and senior talent from the private sector. Now, this exchange between the private sector and the public sector would create fresh blood, would bring new ideas. And why the entry should be only at the entry level? Why not at the mid-level? Why not at the senior level? So it should be multi-level entry into bureaucracy rather than the beginning. That the policy development is important. The public service should realize, the bureaucrats should realize that they are not the only advisors or policy advisors to the politician, but they should collaborate with all the stakeholders The job of the public servant is to collaborate with all the stakeholders and then synthesize all the divergent points of view and present it to the leaders. They are the links between the policy and the service delivery. They are responsible for integration of information, synthesis, and weed out those ideas which are opposed to the interest of the public, maybe in the interest of the person. And then, most important, you cannot have any tolerance for mental incompetence and mental health, ill health. The basic problem is that bureaucrats, even when they suffer from mental health and they cannot take a decision, continue to be there. So the challenge is to have a stigma-free dialogue with honesty and compassion to focus on how to prevent harm to the people. And that will make it a high-performing public service. Now this Blueprint 2020, examined in detail, is an excellent Bible, provided the political leaders accept it. And Trudeau, with all his failings, would be well advised to follow this advice of the senior-most bureaucrat. This will enable the Canadians to reach a new threshold of the customer service expectations, of the delivery of services for the government, and for a better, more effective, more resilient life. This shall go a long way in making this country reach, if not the top, near the top of the well-governed countries. The governance is a major issue that dogs any society. And any polity and any society which is as diverse as Canada is needs a competent, confident, capable and high-performance bureaucracy. And this Blueprint 2020, the vision for the future public service, is here to be followed. I wish the political leadership doesn't dawdle on implementing these suggestions, and the sooner the day the better it would be. Of course, it shall take away some of their rights to give jobs to their cronies. But let's not forget, Canada is more important than the cronies are. Let's hope that the government doesn't falter and the bureaucracy stands transformed into becoming one of the finest bureaucracies as envisaged in this vision for the future. Thank you.